My name is Jaime Casap. I'm the Chief Education Evangelist at Google. I've been at Google for 12 years working in the education space. And I think the most important question that we can start with is this idea of why we need transformation in education. But I'm not one to say that education is broken, because it wasn't broken for me. I am a first-generation American born and raised in Hell's Kitchen, New York. Grew up on welfare and food stamps, and education is the reason I get to sit here in front of you. And I meet thousands of people who are like me every day, who come up to me and talk to me about how they were saved by the education system. So it's not that education is necessarily broken. I think what the difference is, and what we're feeling in society today, is that the education system is no longer enough for the world that we face. That we now live in a different time, and what we need to do isn't necessarily fix education, is to transform education, to do what our forefathers in education did 100 years ago, and ask ourselves, what's the right education system that we need for the future that we face? And then ask ourselves, how do we take the best of what we've been able to create in education for the last 100, 150 years? We don't need to throw all of it away. What we need to do is ask ourselves, how do we take the best ideas that we have in education and bring education to the next level? How do we take technology and bring these ideas out to life? So at the end of the day, human beings are about problem solving. That's what we do. We solve problems all the time. We don't even think about it, right? Like, I have a 3-year-old and I watch her try to solve her big problem in the morning is how can she get her hands on as many Skittles as she possibly can. That's her problem that she's trying to solve. And she comes up with different methodologies to solve that problem. So from the very beginning, as human beings, we are problem solvers. And somehow when we get into the education system, that idea of problem solving is taken away from us because we are told what to learn. We are told what to focus on, as opposed to letting us figure out. I am currently teaching 10th grade communication skills. And one of the things that we are focused on in these communication skill classes is presenting something that they're passionate about, presenting a problem that they're very interested in. And I can't tell you how many of those students just have no idea what to focus on. They're not being told what to do. And so that's the most important thing that we can do when it comes to leadership, is getting kids to understand that they take ownership. That leadership comes from owning the problems that you want to solve, and that you are creating the solutions to solve the problems. And this is across all industries. This is not something that's just in education. You know, think about anyone who is working in any space. Look at the top influential people in Time magazine or the Fortune 500. All of them are focused on problems that they're trying to solve. That's where products come from, that's where solutions come from, that's where new services come from. It's all about problem solving. If you watch Shark Tank, like I do every week, and yell at the television set because you couldn't come up with that same idea that you had 10 years ago, all those things that they're talking about are solving problems. Some of them might be big problems, like, you know, teaching your kid and creating early childhood education. Some problems might be using the wrong kind of butter knife. It doesn't matter. It's the process of problem solving that all these leaders have in common that drives them to where they are today. One of the things that I remember from my childhood is this idea that it takes a village to raise a child. And that's one of those connotations that stuck to me throughout my whole life, because I believe that it is true. It is no longer about the responsibility of the school to teach our student. It's no longer about the employer to hire the person. As a community, together, what we need to do is focus on the skills that students need, focus on how we can improve those skills that students need on a continuous basis. So if you are an employer in the community, and you hire people to work at your organization, how are you refreshing their skills? How are you making sure that the skills that these students have that are coming to your organizations have the skills that they need? Partnering with community colleges, partnering with local education institutions is the key way to ensure that you're hiring the people that you need for the jobs of the future.